Yeah, Samsung, everyone. Let's start off. Hmm. Let's start off with a question. We got a building here of height h. A particle here is released from rest. So this thing falls straight to the ground like this. So this particle covers 9h by 25 in the last second of its motion. Let's say if this thing travels for 10 seconds, in that 9 to 10 seconds, it will travel 9h by 25. Find the height of the building. We don't know how long it is traveling, but let's say if it is traveling 10 seconds, that 9 to 10, that last 1 second, it covered 9 by 25th of the height of the building. So find 9h, find h. Hope the question was clear. Give it a try. Others, do keep your cams on. Got an answer? You can type in the chat box here to the co-host. Right, Triash. Let's see. Look at this thing. Now for the building here, the height is h. You're leaving it from here. So u is 0. You're going down. You hit the ground. So the displacement is minus h. You're going down. Acceleration is minus g. You can find the time here. I can use s is ut plus half at square. I know the formula root 2h by g. Last time we did this, but okay, we'll derive it again. This is 0 minus half g t square. So t will be root 2h by g. So let's leave it like this. So this is the equation 1. H is equal to half g t square. Now look at the second part. For the same particle, if you take it only for t minus 1 second. Now let the total time be t. Getting it? So t is the total time. And now you're saying it has traveled 9h by 25 in the last 1 second. That means this distance is 9h by 25. That means the balance distance would be how much? 16h by 25. Agreed? So in time t, you traveled h. In time t minus 1, you must have traveled 16h by 25. So if I use the equation, minus 16h by 25, u is 0, minus half g, the time will be t minus 1 whole square. This is your equation 2. Are the steps clear, everyone? For time t, you have traveled h, and for time t minus 1, you traveled 16h by 25. Because in the last second, this is the last second, you traveled 9h by 25. So the balance you must have traveled in this, and you're done. So take this h from here, substitute in this. This will be 16 by 25. H will be half gt square. Minus minus goes off. This will be half gt minus 1 square. This would be, put a root on both the sides. 40 by 5 is equal to t minus 1. You get t is equal to 5 seconds. Once you got t is equal to 5 seconds, put it in this equation 1 again. H is equal to half gt square. So that will be 5 into 5 square, 125 meters. Yeah. This happens only for this kind of a building, 125 meters. Right, Samek? Shriyansh, you have two answers. Keep it simple. Right, Arya? All got this? Simple, straightforward, a mains level question. They do ask out of 25 questions, there'll be at least, 8 to 10 questions of this level. Next one. Any doubts on this?
So can we solve by taking the remaining distance of 16h by 25 the total velocity at the end is v minus root 2
You
gh
can do all
minus
those
g?
things. You got the answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can do it. Nothing wrong. There are multiple ways to do. There's nothing wrong and right. Clear? Next one. Just give me a minute. Let me kick out the people whose cams are not on. Yeah, 4 people went. Okay. Next one. We got a building here of height 100 meters. You projected a particle vertically up with q is equal to 20 meters per second. So this thing goes up and comes down. Find time of flight. Do keep your cams on. If your cams are not on, you'll be removed from the classroom. And if there is an issue with the cam, you should message me before the class at least. Let me know. And every class you can't have an issue. So Utsa, Advait, adjust your cams. I can't see your faces. Make sure your faces are completely visible on the screen. No, I still can't see you, Advait. I mean, you have a good hairstyle, but prefer to see your face too. 2 plus 2 root 6. Shreyan, you're still not keeping your cam on. I have to remove you from the classroom. So
Sir, my cam is not working. I have tried to log in back and forth, but it's not working, sir.
you should have told me this before the class, right?
Sir, I sent you the message.
Yeah. We'll see. I didn't get it though. Okay. Let's see. 2 plus 2, 24. 420. Yeah, straightforward question. Look at this. The point from where you're projecting is your origin. What is the displacement? S is minus 100 meters. It doesn't matter how you throw. This is your initial point. This is your final point. The displacement is downward. 100 meters. U plus 20 because it is going up. Acceleration minus G because it is pointing down. You want time. Keep it simple. S is ut plus half at square. There, I'm not doing anything hi-fi, big concepts. Kuch nahi, direct formula substitution. The most important thing, the displacement is minus 100. Be careful with that. S is not the distance traveled, it's the displacement. So I don't care how much it has gone up. Yeah, most of you got it. It's a simple one. So this will be pi t square minus 40 minus 100 is equal to 0. So I can actually do this 5. So this will be t square minus 40 plus 20. Mm, 5, 4 minus 20. There, you solve this, you'll end up with what? You're getting 2 plus root 24. 2 plus 2 root 6. I will leave it to you. Clear, everyone? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're saying something? All got this? Same equation? Check it out. If you got the equation, then it is just a matter of solving. In case you didn't get it, see where it went wrong. Most common mistake people take S is 100. So be careful with that. So it doesn't matter whether I throw up or throw down, S will be always minus 100. Easy? Next one. There. That would be the starters. Starters bhi nahi hai. If you went to a restaurant, they'll give you a papad. That's the papad questions. Let's slowly bump it up. So we got a rocket. Starting from rest. This rocket has an acceleration A is equal to T. T is time. Remember this? This is inclusive of gravity, meaning gravity is included. After gravity and everything, the acceleration is A is equal to T. Now remember this, whenever someone says a rocket ka acceleration A is equal to 2, the meaning of this thing is, if there was no gravity, the rocket would have gone with 12. Because there's a gravity, 12 minus 10, you're going balanced with 2 meters per second square. Are you getting the meaning of this? If you remember, that's what we discussed in the beginning. We will not ask the question, the causes of the motion. How did you get acceleration is equal to 2? So the engines are generating so much force, the rocket in vacuum, in gravity-free space would have gone with 12. Are you getting the meaning of this? So when you say A is equal to T, this is inclusive of gravity. Gravity is included, so there is no need to put G again separately. Is that understood? So the rocket acceleration is T. So a rocket starting from rest has acceleration A is equal to T, meaning the acceleration is not constant, it is increasing with time for 10 seconds. Then the engine shuts off. The fuel gets over and the rocket ka thing is gone. Then engine shuts off. Find H max. Find the total time the rocket is in air till it reaches the ground basically. Gravity is there. So at t is equal to 1 second, A is equal to 1. That means the rocket is actually generating a force for 11 meters per second square. If you subtract the gravity ka 10, you get 1. Are you getting the meaning of it? So keep that in mind. Whenever someone says a rocket ka acceleration is so and so, it is gravity is already included in that. Any doubts on the question? Anyone didn't understand what was the question? Anything doubt with any data you can ask. Question is clear? Go ahead, you got 3 minutes. And any messages you're typing, make sure to type to the co-host. Don't type to the host, I can't see you. If A is equal to T, can I use my kinematics equations? You can't use. You can't use V is equal to U plus AT, S is UT plus half AT square. That is the first thing. Be careful. Those equations are valid only when A is constant. No, Arya, that's not the answer. You got something, but that's not complete. No, Aditi. How do you do if acceleration is not constant? And you know actually how to do this. Anyone remembers this question? Question 8 calculus. A is equal to T, initial velocity, initial position, find the V and X of T. You have integrated the whole thing to get V and X. You're not seeing it for the first time. You've seen this before. Just forgot. 500 by 3, 875 by 3. Let's see. I don't remember the answer exactly, but yeah. It's not 500 by 3. I know what you guys did. You got a part of it. That's not a full answer though. Let me tell you what mistake you're doing. When the engine shuts off, do you think the rocket will stop? That is a hint. When the rocket ka engine gets shut off or the fuel gets over, do you think the rocket will just come to rest immediately? So T0 is this. So T is equal to 10 seconds. You'll reach somewhere here. At this point, the rocket won't stop. The rocket must have already gained some velocity. So from here, it will still continue to go up and then it will come down. So during this motion, the gravity, it acts like a particle which is thrown up, isn't it? This height will be V square by 2G. Are you getting it? So T0 is the point where the engine shuts off. After the engine shuts off, rocket doesn't stop. Because of the velocity, it will continue to go higher and then it will turn back. Are you getting this? So the Hmax will be this height plus this initial height, it has gone up. So we have A is equal to T. This will be dV by dt is equal to T. Integrate this. dV is equal to T dt. You have to go back to the derivation. Initial velocity is 0, initial time is 0. So we get V is equal to T square by 2. Integrate this again. I'll put dy by dt because you are talking about vertical coordinate T square by 2. This will be, again, integrate this thing. dy will be T square by 2 dt. Integrate 0 to y and 0 to t. So we get y is equal to t cube by 6. There. This is the velocity of the rocket and this is the height of the rocket at any time t. At 10 seconds, at t is equal to 10, your velocity will be 50 meters per second. And you're at a height of 500 by 500, 1000 by 6, or 500 by 3 meters. That means this rocket has gone to a height of 500 by 3 meters. And we got v square by 2g. So this is 50 square by 20, which is 2500 by 20. That's 0 will cancel. That is 125 meters. So 125 meters is the height it goes after the engine shuts off. Rocket continues to move upward after the engine shuts off, because it has some velocity. It can't stop suddenly. Is that clear, everyone? So what is the H max? 500 by 3 plus 125. Is that clear? Question still not over. What about the time of flight? How much time is the rocket in air? Now see, once the engine shuts off, it will behave like a normal projectile, isn't it? So once the rocket engine shuts off, the acceleration becomes minus g. It behaves like a particle which is thrown into air. So max height will be 500 by 3. So this is the height you traveled when the rocket engines are on, and 125 after the engines are shut down. How much is this? 125, 375, 875 by 3 meters. Right? How do you find the time of flight? Now look at this thing. Now this whole question has become like this. So the rocket, after 10 seconds, this is at a height of 500 by 3 meters. And the rocket ka speed is 50 meters per second. Doesn't this question look like this? We have a building of height 500 by 3 meters. A particle is projected vertically up with a speed of 50 meters per second. Find time of flight. Isn't this the same question which we did before? So once the rocket engine shuts off, the question simply becomes like a problem where you're throwing it from a building, where the height of the building is the height of the rocket in 10 seconds, and speed of the rocket will be the speed of the rocket at 10 seconds. Is this making sense? You can simply treat the problem to be like this. It looks like a problem, where you're throwing from a building. So this goes up and comes down. So this displacement will be how much? 500 by 3. Acceleration is minus g. Remember, rockets are off, so gravity will come back into the picture. And your speed is 50 meters per second. I can use s is ut plus half at square minus 500 by 3. Numbers are bad. That will give you 50t minus half g 10t square. If you solve this, you'll get the time, but this is not the answer. This is the time after the rocket engine shuts off. So the total time will be initially 10 seconds when the rockets were on, and then plus t. That would be the final answer. The question was total time in air, isn't it? So for 10 seconds, you traveled. So this is the time when the rockets are on. This is the time its rockets are off. So the total time in air is 10 plus t. You can calculate for that. I will leave it to you. That much you can handle quadratic. Do you get a good number? I don't think so. Clear with this? Any doubts on that question, please ask me. So the question has to be done in two parts. The first part, A is not constant, so you have to integrate. Once the rocket engines are off, A becomes constant, so you can use your kinematics equations.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, we can use U by G to find the time from 50 meters to the H max.
Okay.
And then we can use root 2gh to find from hmax to ground, and then
But then you have to find this height again. So yeah, you can do that. But aren't
we
you
can just
bringing
find
too many
u
steps?
by c, right?
No, no, see. Think of like this. Assume you're not doing this and then you're doing only for time. Isn't that an extra step now, finding Hmax?
Yeah, right.
So think like that, na? ऐसा मत
Solving
सोचो,
quadratic
we already
equation.
did this. So always think like that. What if the previous question was not asked? If you have to do only this part, then that was unnecessary an additional step. So yeah, you're not wrong. I don't prefer that. I always assume there is the second question is not given. Nothing wrong. Exam you could have done that also. But all clear with this thing. Any doubts on this? Param, clear with this? Advai? Sure. Advait? Shaunak? Advait, your cam is still not proper, so do adjust it. In case that is not working, at least next time, make sure you adjust the cam properly. Next one. It's a good one, the decent question. We have a particle here which is projected with speed u. U is equal to 20 meters per second. Now we have gravity and we also have air resistance. And this is a special case of air resistance. So think of like this. So a particle is projected up vertically. With 10 meters per second. So the air resistance provides an opposing force to velocity of 0.2 mg, where m is the mass of the particle. Right? Now, to give you a little context, see what is happening. So when you're throwing up, as the particle is going up, so on the particle, look at the forces. You have gravity mg, you will also have the air resistance F. So the total force acting on the particle will be F plus mg is equal to mass into acceleration. F is given as 0.2 mg. So that will be 1.2 g is equal to ma. So we get a is equal to 12 meter per second square. That means when this particle is going up, it will think the acceleration is 12 meter per second square. Technically, I should not be telling you this, but you don't know Newton laws of motion, so I'll show you. You're getting this? So when the particle is going up, the gravity is down, air resistance is also down because air resistance is opposite to velocity. Is that making sense? But the same particle, when it is coming down, the gravity will be down. But remember, the air resistance will be opposite to the velocity. So the air resistance will be up. So now the force will be mg minus F is equal to ma. This will be 0.8 mg is equal to ma. So acceleration will be 8. So when the particle is coming down, the particle will experience the acceleration of 8 meter per second square. You're getting the concept here? The air resistance, right, is always opposite to the velocity. When you go up, it is down. When you come down, it is up. So while going up and coming down, the acceleration is not same. Find the ratio of time of flight by time of ascent. Find time of flight. I'll just keep it simple. That will take care of the whole thing. There, exam may technically this you will figure out on your own. But yeah, you need little NLM, but there, I showed you. So while going up, it will experience 12, and while coming down, it will experience 8. Oh, yeah.
So the initial velocity is 20 or it is 10?
I wrote 2, yeah. Take 20. I hope the question is clear. Yeah, it was 20. My mistake. I wrote it in. But remember, air resistance doesn't look like this. It won't get a constant force. That itself gets messed up. That is the next question. Still a good one. If you have a constant resistance force, this is how it looks. While going up and while coming down, you'll have two different things. Is this making sense? While going up, why the force resistance is so high? Mg and air resistance are working together to stop you. So it will feel the gravity has become 12. But while coming down, the air resistance will oppose gravity, so you will come down a little slower. That's what a parachute does, isn't it? When you open your parachute, it provides an air resistance, so that cancels mg, and that's the reason you come down more slower. Samyak, you got something? Let's see. Nee, Arya, that is wrong. Shriyansh, that is wrong. We have one answer, though. Samyak got it. Others try it, it's a good one. You won't get good numbers. And remember, you can't use time of flight and time of descent formula. That formula was derived when there was no air resistance. So don't use your standard formulas, nothing works. Hmm. 25. Near Aditi. Most of you got 25/6. That is wrong. Not sure how you did that though. Let's see. Let's do the problem, each part separately. Why? Acceleration is not constant throughout the motion, so you can't solve the whole problem in one go. So your speed was 20 meter per second square. And your gravity is A is equal to 12 meter per second square. This is second. Same story. So this guy will go up. It stops here at h max. You go back to the basic derivation. And then you can use the formula v square minus u square is 2as. V is 0, this is 20 square, and this is 2, and this is minus 12, and this is h max. You will need h max. That would be how much? 400 by 2 into 12. 200, and that's 450 by 3 meters. Similarly, I can use v is equal to u plus 80. That will be 0, and that will be 20. That will be minus 12t. This will be your time of ascent. Time taken to reach h max. That would be 5 by 3 seconds. It takes 5 by 3 seconds to reach the top. You can actually do it much faster. If you guys remember the formula for h max, what is h max? U square by 2g. So g ka place mein we'll use something called g effective. So the particle will think this is the new gravity, isn't it? See, Max doesn't care whether A is 10 or A is 12 or something. The particle will start thinking the gravity has become 12. The particle doesn't know anything about air resistance. Similarly, you can use time of ascent also. Is U by, so wherever there is G, replace with G effective. Quite a useful concept. We're going to use this a lot later on. Because the particle doesn't care whether the force came due to gravity or came due to air resistance. This is your time of ascent. Now for the second part of the question. The particle is already at a height. Now your initial speed is 0 and this height is 50 by 3 meters. You cannot use time of descent ka formula. Now the acceleration is 8. If a particle is dropped from rest, remember we already derived this formula, root over 2h by g. But g ka place mein you'll have g effective. So while coming down, the particle will think the gravity has become 8. You can solve this also, s is ut plus 8 square. This will be root into, that's the reason you need h ka value. 50 by 3 and g effective is 8. That's 100 by this thing. How much is that? 100, so 10 will come out. 1, 2 also will come out. 6 will be there. 5 by root 6. This is your time of descent. So you need h max. Therefore, the total time of flight will be time of ascent plus time of descent. So it takes 5 by 3 to go up and it takes 5 by root 6 to come down. They're not equal. Have a look at this. Right over here. How did you guys get 25 by 12? Most people got that number 25 by 6.
What I did was I took both of the cases separately and applied the formula V is equal to U.
U by G.
Yeah.
See, usme problem I'll tell you. See, for the second one, when you applied V is equal to U plus 80, do you know what is the speed it will hit the ground? It will not hit with 20 anymore. You're getting it? So when this thing hits the ground, the speed won't be 20. I can find that speed also. So V dash will be 0 plus this will be 8 into time is 5 by root 6. So this particle will hit the ground with a speed of 40 root 6 meters per second. See, when there is an air resistance, you lose energy. So you throwed it with 20 meters per second, but you came back with 40 by root 6 meters per second. So your speed is not same. That is the reason the formula doesn't work. Got it? You must have taken V is 20 now while it came back. So that would have been a mistake there. In case you don't believe that, you can try that. Take someone and throw them into the air and see. They'll not come back with the same velocity. Any doubts on this? So this explanation which I gave you, right? This you have to figure it out later on. But any doubts on the steps? Please ask me if you're confused. Next one. Let's see a better version of this. So we have a particle here which is projected with speed u. It goes up and it comes down with speed v. And there is an air resistance. The force is given by F is equal to minus bv bar. The minus indicates force is opposite to velocity. So while you're going up, the force is down. When you're coming down, force is up. B is a constant. Other than this, you also have your gravity also. So the particle is projected with u and it comes back with v. Find time of flight. There's a way to do this. You can do normal brute force. That will be too complex. But you think for 2 minutes, then I'll show you. You can do this in a minute.
The mass.
M ले लेना. So all are variables. So answer should come in terms of u, v, m, g, and b. You throw the particle with u, it went up and came back with v. So this we already showed. If you have air resistance, you'll not come back with the same speed. How do we approach this? Just think it's fine. Don't worry about getting an answer. Like if this is given, like how do you even start? See, don't always worry about, oh, I'm not getting an answer. Forget about the damn answer. You try to learn, try to understand how do you approach and how do you fight with the question. You learn that, eventually you will figure out how to get the answers also. You have time to figure it out. Don't be in a hurry, like, a weekend ko marks aa jana chahiye. Most people mess up their studies just because they want marks this weekend. They don't think about the final advance exam. This weekend ka exam, this batch shuffling ka test, this super batch ka test. And these all are bloody distractions. When you focus on little longer time frame, things actually fall in place. So next time when you're worrying about the performance, now ask like this: how many days does it take to get you a six-pack? Can you get it in a week by this weekend? See, takes effort. If you are not eating food and you're already thin, you might already have it. But for a person like me who is a little fat, it takes maybe 6 months. If you religiously work every day. Takes time. You want something good, takes time. Let's see how to do this. Integration is really bad. So let me show you. If this thing comes and you want to do brute force, how to do that, but there is a much technique, you can use something, you can manipulate the equations to get something. So if I have to do this question, brute force, this is how we do this. So as the particle is going up, so on the particle we'll have forces mg, and the air resistance also will be downward F, which is BV. The minus indicates opposite to velocity, so I'm already showing it down. So this will be mg plus BV is equal to mass into acceleration. So we get acceleration will be g plus b by m into v. And then we write this thing as v dv by dy, and then we integrate this. This is a mess. That integration is really painful. Then we do that v dv plus g plus pv by m. You'll get ln and everything. We'll not get into this. So if you solve this, you will get y in terms of, v in terms of y. And then again, you have to do this dy by dt. And then you integrate this, then you get y in terms of time, and it goes really complex. But got the process how to do till here. At least till this part is clear. So we have to do all that. We have to find h max and everything. So let it be. Now there's a much faster way to do this thing.
So,
Yeah.
would you check the answer?
No, that is wrong.
So can you check mine?
It is wrong. Wait. You're not a competition, Ray. Why are you guys so obsessed about, that your answer has to be there or something? Don't be so obsessed. School, yeah. School, you must have done all this kind of stuff, right? Oh, my answer is first. See, my answer is first. Big deal. You type your answer, na? I'll see if it is right. I would have told you already. Yes, you got it. Now listen to this thing. Focus on learning. I was telling you can't integrate this. So how do you even get an answer by integrating this? Anyway, so listen. So the net force on this particle is what? So when it is going up or coming down, the force will be mg. So see, the net force, the F total, will be mg bar plus the air resistance. That's your total force. Total force is mass into acceleration, Newton's second law thing that comes from there. This will be mg bar, this will be minus into bv bar. What is acceleration? dv bar by dt. This is mg bar minus bv bar. This is m dv bar. Send the dt that side. This will be mg dt minus bv dt. Integrate on both sides. M integral dv mg integral dt minus v integral v bar dt. Now here the catch is, what are the limits of this? You're going up, so this is u, and you're coming down, this is minus v. Is that clear with the limits? Integral dv is the velocity, right? You're integrating a velocity component. So while going up, it is u, and while coming down, it is minus v. So those are the limits. This will be 0 to this will be time of flight. Now look at this thing. This, I don't know v, I don't know dt. I don't know how to calculate this, but try to understand. What is integral v dt? What is this term?
Distance.
Displacement.
Displacement.
This term is displacement. So now you tell me, if you go up and come back to the same position, what is displacement? 0. If the particle is projected up, it goes up and comes back to the same thing. What is the displacement? 0. It comes back to the same position. I don't know what is the velocity. Velocity is changing every instant, but I don't even need to know. Integral v dt is displacement. So this will become m into limits. M into v, these limits will go from minus v to u. Initial to final, and this will be mg, this will be time of flight. I actually need to put a minus n because it's decelerating. A and B are opposite, right? So there you're getting the time of flight. MM will cancel. This will be minus v minus u is equal to g into time of flight. So we get the answer. Time of flight is nothing but v plus u by g. There, that's your answer.
Can
Are you
tell
getting the steps?
why you took minus?
While going up, what is your initial velocity? This is u j cap. Coming down, what is the velocity? Minus v j cap. That's what you're asking?
No. So the minus sign in acceleration.
Velocity is upward, acceleration is downward, right? So
Okay, so
both are
that's
in opposite
minus.
directions. So minus dv by dt. So the whole question, right, becomes easy because this term becomes 0. And because it came back to the same position, it becomes easy to solve. Have a look at this. So you can just skip all the big integration. If you do all the big integrations, you get the same answer. But the only reason it works is because initial and final velocities are given. Have a look at the steps. This would be a pretty good advanced question.
So
Yeah.
So why is it like similar to the U by G formula?
It comes out like that. You can't find u and v ka value.
I
It is
know,
not
but
u by g, na? It is not u by g.
no, I mean like it is the time of ascent plus its time of descent.
You are lucky, maybe. For example, if I make this function be v square, right? Then this will be v square dt. Now
Yes.
this, what is v square dt? Nothing.
Yeah.
Now you can't solve.
So we have
So
to
this
use
was
brute
a,
force.
yeah, this was, then to your done. Then you have to use brute force. So you are lucky here that VDT got cancelled. So this is a very special case.
How will we realize that there is a special case of question?
There, now you learned it. Now you learned it. You have seen one, right? Next time when you come, you'll think about this idea. See, when you're learning for the first time, you don't ask, how will I think? You will say, okay, this is how you think. So next time when it comes, don't mess it up. If you are going to become an architect, you know what they do? What do you think they'll do? First, they'll give you 100 different buildings in the world and they'll ask you to study all of them. You study each and every building. You understand each and every technique. Why did you do this way in this building? Why did we use this material in this building? And then after 100 buildings of study, now you know how to design one on one. So yeah. And this is the thing, you know, every question, it is my job to make sure to make you feel like, okay, I can do like this. So if you're feeling that way, it is good. It means you're learning something new. No, now you got it? No, this was not easy. I'm telling you, this is not easy. Now after solving it looks easy. Exam mein idea nahi aayega. You should have seen something like this, something similar like this before. हाँ हो गया.
Sir, like I was thinking why you took minus BV, like mg minus B.
Air resistance, right? We said air resistance is minus BV bar, no?
But
No, the signs will take care of it. Now see, this is not BV, this is BV bar. So if V bar is up, so minus of minus, that signs will take care automatically. I'm not taking a magnitude, I took a vector only. Got that? You're confused. So, ठीक है ना? Take it as plus then. It doesn't matter. What is that? It's still zero.
So, sir,
हाँ.
but you said that the net acceleration is negative. So we have taken minus sign, but mg is also downward, right? Reverse, it's opposite to the direction of velocity. So mg should also have a negative sign, I suppose.
नहीं सही बोल रहे हो वो भी है. See, think of like this then. Let's keep it simple if that's confusing. Let's say mg is down, the air resistance is also down, and acceleration is also down. Happy?
Yes.
So then mg plus bv is fine.
Yes.
But the velocity is up, so a is minus dv by dt.
Oh, right. That's right.
Okay, let's keep it that way. So definitely make sure today, tomorrow, take a paper, see the question, try it again. That's how you remember this thing. Trust me, you don't revise this in 1 or 2 days. After a month, you will see the same question. You will not even know how to do. This is a pretty good one. So this is a question where it is tough to think, but easy to solve. Question was easy to solve once you figure it out, but it is difficult to get an idea how to start. Most people will try to do this. Even I did this the first time when I saw this like 6-7 years back when I saw this question for the first time. I was making a question with BV square, and when I did BV, it came out pretty easily. So there, that is a few things about. So that is how you handle if you have air resistance also. The next thing, that is a little about 1D. So we have seen things going left and right. We have seen things going up and down. Now what happens if you start throwing at angles? So before jumping into that, we need to define few things. What is a one-dimensional motion? So what you have studied till now is one-dimensional motion. But if I had to give you a definition, how do we define one-dimensional motion? So this is how we say if the motion depends only on single variable. If you can describe the position of the particle with one single number or one single variable, then we call it one-dimensional motion. Then what is two-dimensional motion? The motion depends on two independent variables. Now, what do you mean by independent variables? Example C. If you have x plus y is equal to 10, if you say x is equal to 4, then does y have a choice? Then y should be 6. So even though it looks like there are two variables, in reality, right, there is only one option. Think of like this. I'll give an example. See, let's say we have A and B. I have 10 apples. And look at the statement. I need to give all the 10 apples to A and B. Okay. I gave 3 apples to A. How many apples will B get? 7, right? Did you see there is no option for B? The moment you chose the value for A, B has to take 7. There is no second option there. But imagine if I say like this, there are 10 apples, I can give any number of apples. I need not give all the apples also. Now, if I say A has 3 apples, then B can take how many apples? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you have options, right? Now B can choose whatever it wants. So now they're not dependent variables. Are you getting the meaning of dependent and independent? The moment you choose one value, and if the other value gets fixed, then they are dependent on each other. If you choose one value and the other value can be anything, then they're independent. So in this case, if you see, the moment we choose, we can't choose y. You can choose only any one of them. So x and y are dependent. So it looks like there are two variables, but in reality, there are only one. Suppose if you say x plus y is less than equal to 10, and now if you say x is equal to 4, then y ka value can be anything less than equal to 6. So now x and y are independent. Now you have choices. Yeah, not too many choices, but still you have some choices. Is that clear, everyone? Everyone clear with what is independent and dependent variables? Clear with this?
So,
Now, let me take some examples. Yeah.
sir, you spoke about the trajectory equation and you told that it was in 2D motion. So in that means it's a equation, right? So the y
Let
will
me tell
become
you,
like
let
this.
me teach you, why so impatient? Where did I teach you trajectory? Let me teach that. Let me come there. We are doing that. Don't worry. This page is clear, right? Dependent, independent variables. Yeah. Let's focus on what is being done. I know. We'll see. So let me take some examples. You tell me what are these motions, okay? So we have a block here going with speed u horizontally. We have a particle going in a circle. We have a particle projected with u and theta. We have a bird here. Yeah, that's a bird. Tied by a string. And this point is fixed. Flying bird. Same thing. Kind of looks like a rat, na? But yeah. But imagine this is a rod. This is fixed. Now, can you tell me what is 1D, 2D, 3D? What is the first one? The block goes in a straight line. So only the thing that only the x coordinate changes. So here the x coordinate changes. X is equal to ut there. So this is your 1D motion. What about B? A block going in a straight line is 1D motion. Only one coordinate is changing, right? There is no y coordinate, there's only x. What about particle going in a circle? Particle going in a circle is also 1D. Listen why. You can argue this in two ways. When you take a circle, at any point the coordinates are x comma y. So x square plus y square is r square, even though it looks like there are two variables, x and y are dependent. The moment you fix the value of x, y ka value will get fixed. Getting it? There is another better way to argue this. Instead of studying in Cartesian coordinates, if you study this in polar coordinates, so for the particle, this is angle theta, this is r. What are the coordinates? R comma theta. R is constant. So the only variable which is changing is theta. If you just tell me the angle, I can tell you where are you on the circle. I don't need radius. Is that making sense? So a particle going in a circle is actually 1D motion. Don't think 1D matlab straight line hona chahiye. One variable should change. Is that making sense, everyone? Circle is also 1D motion. So you can use polar coordinates. We can see only theta is variable. This is projectile motion, 2D. Here, u and theta, there are two variables. It need not be x and y. See, for different velocities and different angles, I can get different trajectories, isn't it? So there are two variables which will decide what path you will take, which is u and theta. Both are independent of each other. What angle you throw and what speed you throw will not depend on each other. What about the poor bird? If it is a pigeon, I don't mind, but yeah. We can tie a pigeon. I hate pigeons. So what about D? If you have a string, how will the bird can fly? The bird can fly inside, the bird can fly outside, it can fly throughout the sphere, isn't it? It flies in a 3D space, volume. So X, Y, Z, all three coordinates can change. Bird can move within the sphere. It can come inside, it can go outside, it can fly on the surface. So this is 3D. But the moment you keep a rod, what happens? If you keep a rod, can the bird come inside? The rod cannot compress. Can the bird fly outside? The rod cannot stretch. So the bird has to fly on the surface of a sphere. Bird moves on the surface. Means you can only change your surface area. You can't go into the volume. This is a 2D motion. Did you see? Putting a string and putting a rod, the whole question changes. So this can completely come inside. Is this clear, everyone? Any doubts on this? So an ant walking on a floor is what kind of motion? An ant walking on a flat floor is what kind of motion?
2D.
2D, right? It can go left, right, front, back. There's no choice. A mosquito flying in the air? 3D. It can go up and down, left, right, front, back. All the motions are independent of each other. Is that clear, everyone? What about humans walking on the Earth's surface?
2D.
Yeah, if it is a flat Earth surface, it is 2D. But if there are mountains going up and down valleys, then it becomes a 3D. But if it's a perfect sphere and if you're walking on the Earth's surface, it is a 2D motion. Clear with this? There. Take a break. Come back by 9:40. Any doubts so far? Great. Come back in 5 minutes. Yeah, let's start off. There. So what we are going to do now, listen carefully. If you understood this, yeah, your projectile will be clear. Again, so listen carefully. We will just get on all the derivation, put on all the results. So it's kind of like 1D only. So what is this projectile motion? Always, whenever you're learning something, right, try to split things into as many small possible, as small things as possible, and then try to study each one of them properly. And then it is just a matter of combining. So when you think about physics, right, it is kind of like cooking only. Did you guys ever cook anything? So there's a particular way and a process. Like when you put a pan, put an oil, get it heated, then you put onions. Then you should ask yourself, why can't you put onions first and then put oil next? You need to ask. That is the thing. That is a problem. When you don't ask questions, you don't learn anything. Getting it? Okay, what happens if you don't put and once what will happen? The onions will burn off completely. Now, if you see the process, right, you put oil, then you put all this masala, jeera, and all that stuff. And that was a question I had, like, okay, why are you putting oil and why are you putting all this masala there? Then when I started searching for it, and there was a thing there. When you put this oil and heat it up and put this masala, the oil absorbs all that flavor. And later on, when you mix with the food, the oil will distribute all that flavor. That was the reason. And second thing, oil ka temperature gets heated up fast, and when you put onions, it gets fried. So there is a process. You need to think, you need to ask. Not only this, anything. Tomorrow you're learning dance, and when the teacher says, do your hand like this and this, and you're not able to do, but he is able to do, you ask him, boss, exactly how are you doing this? What is the process? Most thing, right? You just listen and then you don't question yourself, you don't spend time on that. And that is the reason people find things difficult. So physics is one subject where you need to spend time with each question. You need to put a fight. You need to really give your best in understanding each one. And it is completely fine if you don't get an answer. Don't run behind the answer. Right? So let's see. So projectile motion, how we go this. So a particle, see, at least, that is how I learned physics. There are, even when I was studying in 11th and 12th, right, we had two kinds of people in the class. In our class, we used to have 192 people, three sections. What was my rank? My rank used to be 160, 170. This is my rank, not score. This used to be my rank. By the end of the second year, I was second in the whole section, whole class. So what made the difference? One thing I was clear. My first exam, I scored 0. Second exam, I scored 0. After 3-4 exams, I realized, boss, I'm not as smart as my friends. Itna to clear tha. Getting it? Then it was clear. Then I said, okay, I'm not as smart as these idiots. So I can't do whatever they're doing. Because these people, right, they used to come and say, hey, I finished 100 questions in one day. I finished Erudo in half day. I did Cengage. People like to show off. People like to come and give big claims. Everyone wants to say, I finished that, I finished that. I said, boss, chodna. I cannot compare with these guys. These guys might be really smart. Sometimes in the class, right, the teacher is explaining the question. By the time I understood the question, people are shouting answers. It hurts. It feels bad, right? And every time the exam gets over, my result used to be in the last page. There used to be 6 pages of result. I used to see my name from the back. Pata tha, 6th page mein hi hoga. We used to have 3 sections, A, B, C, and C is the worst section. I used to be in that. Obviously, na last ranker ko aur kaha bedalenge. So then I said, okay, fine. I can't fight with these guys. Some of them are really smart, right? Then I said, okay, I'm a weak person. So how do I fight with the strong people? So weak people have their own way of fighting. So I said one thing. If you give me a concept, I can learn. I will take time. I'll understand it end to end properly. My friends can do 100 questions in a day. I can do only 10 to 15. I said, fair enough. So I decided I'll do only one book. I only decided to HC Verma. I did nothing else. Irido kiya the second year mein little, but HC was my prime book. You know how long I used to do? I used to do each chapter for 14 days, 10 to 14 days. Each chapter I did for 10 to 14 days. But after doing for 10 to 14 days, I understood every example. I understood every objective question. I understood every question. I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing. My friends used to finish off HCV in 2 to 3 days. I don't know whom they're trying to impress, but fine. So my thing was simple. Huh? In total physics, there are 25 chapters. If I take each chapter 2 weeks, I'll finish off the whole portion in 50 weeks. I have 2 years. What am I running for? I think the difference between you and me, guys, right? I was always in the last section, so no one had any expectations of me. No one really cared that I will, even I will qualify also. I think that was the biggest advantage I had. No one had any expectations on me. So, and I also never raised it. I always focused on, boss, let me learn as much as I can and I will figure it out. So the first exam I scored, right, I got 0 out of 30. It was a subjective exam. Told you this? I got a 0 out of 30 in my first physics exam. I didn't feel bad because out of 192 people, around 100 people got 0. See, you feel bad only when you get 0, right? If our friends are also getting 0, then theek hai, hota hai. Yeah, but the highest was only 7 out of 30. So that was the second comforting factor. I said, theek hai, hota hai. Then second exam, I got 0. Now I started feeling something weird. I said, and see, writing a subjective exam is difficult. If you don't write proper steps, you don't get any marks. I said, okay, 0, fine. And then I got a third exam, 0. Now it started really pinching me. See, in my entire life, I was not a topper. Even in class of 50 people in school, my rank used to be 30 or 35. But I never got zeros in my life. Then I said, yeah, something is going wrong here. Then I got fourth one, 0. This is gone. Matlab, by now, my fuse was gone. I was like, what the hell is happening? I really became serious. I was always a last bencher. I started coming and sitting in the first bench. I thought I'll do everything like a good student so that my marks will improve. So good student matlab kya? Sitting in the first bench, isn't it? Write down the notes properly. So typical things. I was doing every damn thing. I used to wake up at morning 4:30 to study because someone told if you wake up early and study, you will get something. And I was revising the notes and everything. I realized few things. One, whatever teacher teaches in the class, nothing will come in the exam directly. That was the first thing. What I was doing, I was reading the notes. I am going to the exam. Okay, first question, teacher didn't teach this, leave it. Second question, teacher didn't teach, leave it. I didn't realize, boss, advanced my questions won't repeat. You keep getting new ones. You need to figure it out. A lot of struggle. This thing, a test used to happen for 15 days. So this is almost for 2 months. I think I literally used to be in tears actually. I said, like, what the hell is this? First 2 tests, I didn't care, but last two, it was really hurting. I used to stay back after the class. I used to stay back till night 8 o'clock. I really was struggling and doing everything. And then fifth exam, I scored 1.5. And trust me, I was really happy. I was really happy. I think I was more happy than when I got into IIT. Because for the first time, bloody, I figured out how to not get a 0. I got 1.5. A lot of things happened, some of my, I started figuring out, I did HCV, I saw each question. It took time. There was one question which I did for 3 days. I'm not recommending you do that. And top of it, right, my teachers, see, we are talking about 2005, 2006. Teachers never cared about us. There was nothing like IIT, what we're doing now. So it was all like teacher used to come, teach and go, and you're done. You figure out your own doubts, you figure out your own things. If you don't understand, it's your problem. It used to be that way. And I studied in Narayana. I'm from Andhra, right? So I studied in Narayana then. Then I worked in Chaitanya. So I have worked everywhere in Andhra. So this Narayana Chaitanya things which you guys are saying, I know how it feels. I came back to Mumbai in 2013. So it's been almost 12 years. So this is the thing. 1.5 I got. And finally, after I think 4 or 5 months, I scored 11 out of 30. And then you know what all my friends started saying? Arun copied, Arun copied. How the hell can you get 11 marks? That to the C-section guy, how can you get 11 marks out of 30? He must have copied. See, after putting all that much work, people say you copied. What do? You shut your mouth and you continue working. What else can you do, right? I think after 8 months, I scored 24 out of 30. That was the first time anyone has scored more than 20. I was a topper. Now I said, whom did I copy from? It took 8 months. And when I say this, trust me, I did only HCV 3 times. I did it once properly. Then I did second time. I understood how to do. Then I asked myself. I did it third time. Yeah, Irido I must have done half, but that is mostly while traveling in the bus, or maybe someone gives me a question that I used to solve. That's it. That is the only 2 books I solved. And anyway, to my physics was the total score. I scored almost, I think, 50% of my total score was from physics only in advanced exam. So somehow, if you guys are thinking right, you will just study for 1 week and see the whole reason why it worked for me. Why I never cared about this weekend exams. I know it is important, but my focus was the final exam. I know, all these people will get good marks than me, but I know in the final exam I'll get a better rank than them. So keep something at a longer term, right? Keep working. It's okay if you score a little less here and there in your local exams, but don't ignore your subject and don't do random things. I'll just tell you what do you mean by random thing. Recently happened with one of your senior. They had a major test coming up. They had 12 chapters. This guy completely panics and he says, "Sir, there are 12 chapters. I have only 1 week. I'm not sure how will I manage. What should I do?" See, this first thing, why the hell are you panicking? It is same for everyone. Then I said to him, "Okay, out of 12 chapters, how many can you do properly?" I said, "How many of the chapters you are comfortable?" He said, "Sir, in this 6 chapters, 7 chapters, I'm good." I said, "Okay. The remaining, let's 6 chapters you are good. In the remaining 6 chapters, how many chapters can you do properly?" Sir, he said I can do 4 chapters properly. Then I told him, fair enough. Then do these 4 chapters properly. The other 2 chapters, leave it. This guy is like, "Sir, how can I leave 2 chapters, sir? If anything comes from there, I will lose marks." And I said, "Okay. Can you do all 6 chapters?" "No, sir." "Then why are you doing all 6? Do 4." Can you see the dilemma there? My logic is if you do this 4 properly, next major test, you will come and tell me, "Sir, there are 18 chapters." Isn't it? And then I'll ask you how many chapters you will good. Now you will say 10 chapters are good. Then you have to do only 8. But like an idiot, if you try to do all 6, you're not comfortable in anything, you will never improve in any chapter. So for a shorter term marks, you have sacrificed the longer term goal, improving your concepts. So I did the same thing. If there are 6 chapters and I can do only 2 chapters, I used to do only 2 chapters. Remaining 4, I didn't even care. Yeah, my local Tesca scores used to get messed up big time. But how many days will it get messed up? Once the portion got over, we had around 24 chapters. My 18 chapters were strong, almost like 16 to 18 chapters. My friends, they did everything, but no one was confident in any chapter. Simple. I'll tell you one simple test. How do you know you're confident in a subject? Let me ask you this question now. Till now, whatever I taught you, if I ask you 10 questions from all the chapters that I taught you, how many questions can you answer? Without even seeing the question, without even knowing what the question is. What is the number that you can give? You're getting what I'm asking? If I'll give you 10 questions, how many questions can you answer without even knowing what is the question? What is the number that you will give? If you ask me the same question, I will say 8. Even I won't say 10. I will say 8. The day you can say 8, I think you're pretty good in physics. At your current rate, I think you can say 5 or 6. I think you still did a good job. That's where you have to reach 8. Keep that in mind. The day you can say, I will do 8 questions without even knowing what is the question, matlab you have reached the level. That confidence matters a lot. And just to give you this thing, when I was writing my BITS exam, 2006 ka, so we used to have 150 questions. I'll tell you what that confidence does. BITS exam, right, has 150 questions. And BITS has a specialty. I don't know whether you know this thing. If you finish off all 150 questions and if you submit them, and if you have time left, you get extra 12 questions. Do you know this? BITS exam is special. If you submit all the 150 questions and if you have time left, they will give you extra 12 questions, meaning you can score more than 450 marks. It's +3 -1. So nowadays, the paper ka pattern has become 130 questions. If you submit all 130 questions in less than 3 hours, you will get extra 12 questions. So you can actually score more than 390. Getting it? But remember the thing, you have to submit all the questions. You can't, if you do only 149 and if you submit, you won't get extra questions. I did 138 questions in 2.5 hours. Getting it? I had a very high speed. Getting it? I had half an hour left and 12 questions. Some are max. My physics and chemistry are very good. My max is horrible. Yeah, it is not bad, but compared to physics, it is horrible. So I had 12 questions left. Then I started thinking, okay, I have 12 questions left. I have half an hour. I want extra questions. So what to do? I said, let me guess all of them. What is the worst thing that can happen? All 12 will be wrong. I'll get -12. Great. Then max, physics, chemistry, they'll give 4 questions, 4 questions, 4 questions. That's how you get extra 12 questions. 4, 4, 4. Now in physics, out of 4, I can do 3. I don't even know what the hell is the question. I was confident I can do 3. Chemistry, I can do 3. That is a confidence. Max, I will do 0. That is also confidence. You're getting this? That is how I used to be. I was always a contradiction. I was so damn confident in physics. I was not at all confident on max. I was so confident I'll get 0 in max. I said, chalo, I will do 6 questions. 6 into 3, that is 18 marks. This is -12. I'll make a profit of 6 marks. That's the most logical thing to do, right? Guess the paper. I guessed all the 12 questions. I got extra 12 questions. They were not tough. I did max May 3, I did physics 4, I did chemistry 4. I think I don't know the number exactly, but I must have got extra 30 plus marks easily. I scored more than 400 plus out of 450. I was getting bits Pilani CS and all, but yeah. This is what I'm saying. In the exam, can you be this calm and think what to do? You go to the exam, you start panicking for every damn thing. You don't get one question, it feels like the end of the world. So you guys need to work on all this stuff. It's not only the subject. Then I simply scored 30 plus marks because I said guessing was the right option. So think about what I'm saying, think about little long term. I know your classes ka pressure, institute, I do understand, but unfortunately much not can be done. We can't do much about it. But if you focus too much on that and you're leaving the whole, picture of this thing, you'll have a problem once the portion gets over. Anyway, so that is one. So keep that in mind a bit. Because now your seniors are gone. Last week say ho gaya unka, advance ho gaya, bits is 2 is there. We even had a session for them. And did I tell you the scores? You must have seen, right? Vimya must have posted the results. I think our best rank is not, okay, it is not bad. The student got 177 out of 360. His rank is 1919. How much score is this? 50%, isn't it? So 50% gave you a rank of roughly 2000. That will put you in IIT Bombay Chemical or IIT Bombay, IIT Madras Mechanical. This year, interestingly, we got 3 ranks in 1900s only. 1900, 1950, 1970 or something, and 2050 or something. So ranks are pretty close by. We got a lot of 1900s and 2000s. And a score of 100 out of 360, this is 33%, I guess. Something like that, 30% maybe. This gave you a rank of 16,950. This is a rank for 100 marks in advance. Yeah, this will still give you a second tier IITs, like the new ones, IIT Tirupati, IIT, Patna or IIT. There is one thing, Jodhpur. You'll get something secondary branches. Still an IIT, but yeah. That's what I keep saying. Advanced when no one is asking to score 90%. 50% will still put you on IIT Bombay Chemical. I think if you can just score like 190, that will put you at 12, 1400, 1500 ranks. 200 will put you near 1000. They should put your rank around 1200 or something. I mean, just to give that, the guy who got 100, actually, it's a girl. The girl who got 100, she got 16,950. There is one boy who got 99 out of 360 score. His rank was 17,058. That one mark, there's almost 108 ranks were lost. That one mark will make such a difference. So in the end, it's a cluster. For every one mark, you lose 100, 200 ranks. So there.
So if two people
Anyway,
get
so that
the
is there.
same score, how are the ranks judged?
Then they will take the toughest paper. If maths was tough, so let's say maths was tough and physics was second and second. Let's say you and I both scored 100. Let's make it more score since it is. Let's say we scored 250 out of 360. Right. If you scored this much, you got 250, I also got 250. Let's say maths paper is tough. My maths is weak and I scored, let's say 60, and your maths is strong. You scored 70, so you get a better rank. If you and I maths ka scores are same, then they'll see the second tougher subject. If that is also same, then chemistry is also same. Then it is over. Then they will see based on, they have around 11 criteria. Right? So after this is over, then they will see, I think, I don't remember the exact order, but then they will see the age. If I'm older, I get a better rank. They have weird criteria. If that is also same, then I think they'll see whoever has the better application number, they will get the better rank. I think they have around 10 to 11 criteria to clear you out. But yeah, most people will get cleared out with this individual maths, physics, chemistry only. It's pretty rare that we get all the marks exactly same, and then yeah, that also happens. If you and I get exactly same marks, the older person gets a better rank. That looks very bad, right? But yeah, can't do anything. Anyway, so that is there. So keep the things that I said in mind, right? I'm not telling you like a teacher, but the person who has faced through all these things, right? It was not easy. If you guys are thinking, right, without struggle, you somehow will achieve, yeah, that's not going to happen. And I have seen brilliant people, I fought with them. If you're a weak person, there's a way you can fight. Don't compare with other people. You figure out on your own way of studying, you improve on yourself. Let other people go to hell. Seriously, that really helped a lot. I stopped caring about others. I said, that guy comes and shouts, oh, I got 90 out of 100. I scored 30 out of 100. Yeah, fine, he got 90, let him go to hell. I got 30, next exam, let me make it 40. That's it. My job is to get 40. I don't care how much he is scoring. I think if you can really stop doing that and focus on yourself, not only in subjects, you'll be really happy in life. Because in life, you'll always find someone better than you in something else. And you can't keep comparing. So, yeah. Anyway, so getting back to this thing. So a projectile is a particle projected at an angle theta. With respect to the horizontal. Theta not equal to 90. So another way to say this is in projectile motion, u bar, that is your initial velocity, and a bar, the acceleration vector, are not parallel or anti-parallel. If they're parallel, it becomes a one-dimensional motion. So how do we study this kind of thing? See, if you start throwing particles at an angles, I have no idea how to study this, right? So you always split into something which you know. So this is what we do. We study this by resolving the motion along two perpendicular directions. There, I know how to study one-dimensional motions. I don't know how to study two-dimensional motions. So somehow if we can split the two-dimensional motion into two one-dimensional motions, yeah, my job's done. So we study this by resolving the motion along two perpendicular direction, and these are two one-dimensional motions. That is a main key. If you understood this, and then you know how to split it, which we know how to study. Then add the results factorially. So once you study them independently, whatever results you get, you can add the results factorially. Let me show you how it works. This concept, right, is actually called principle of superposition. Ever heard this? Pretty powerful concept, comes a lot in physics. We will see this later on. So what this concept tells you, right? If there are two independent events, let's say event 1 creates an effect 1 and event 2 creates an effect 2. When 1 plus 2 will act together, you get effect 1 plus 2. Just to give an example, let's say if you have a block here and if you're applying force F1 and you get acceleration A1. Same block, if you apply F2 and you get acceleration A2, when you apply F1 plus F2 together, you'll get acceleration A1 plus A2. Does that make sense? If F1 creates acceleration A1 and F2 creates acceleration A2, then F1 plus F2 will get acceleration A1 plus A2. Not only here, suppose if you have a circuit like this and there are two batteries. Let's say this battery is V1, this battery is V2. Let this be R1, let this be R2, and let this be R3. Let's say if you have only battery V1, then the circuit will look like this. And let's say if you have only battery V2, then the circuit will look like this. So if this battery V1 creates current I1 here, and if the battery V2 creates current I2 here, if both the batteries are there, you get current I1 plus I2. You getting the meaning of this? So what principle of superposition says is if there are two independent things, and if each guy creates effect 1 and effect 2, if both are there, you get effect 1 plus 2. You can use it in motion, you can use it in forces, you can use it in circuits for finding currents. This concept comes everywhere. So this concept is called principle of superposition. Keep that in mind. We are going to use it again later on. So how do we study this thing? So this is X. Let's say Y-axis, I split this. So particle is projected with U and theta. This is U and this is theta. So I can split this motion in the horizontal direction. This is Ux, which is U cos theta. The vertical component will be U sin theta. That is your Uy. So look at the meaning of the subscripts. Ux, velocity in the horizontal direction. Horizontal component of initial velocity. Uy, which is U sin theta. This is the vertical component of the initial velocity. So the subscript tells you which direction. And the gravity is G. So now what I'm suggesting is, I don't know how to study u, but I know how to study each one separately. So let's take only the y direction first. So if you take the y direction, the motion looks like vertically the velocity is uy, which is u sine theta. Don't you know what happens here? If you throw the particle vertically, it goes up and comes down. You know how to study this, right? Gravity is g. Plus, in the horizontal direction, you're throwing the particle horizontally with ux, which is u cos theta. And horizontally, there is no acceleration. Ax is 0. So this gives you the x coordinates and this gives you the y coordinates. And how will the equations look like? Look at the equations here. So in the y direction, the equations will look like the displacement sy will be uy t plus half ay t square. The three equations are still valid. This becomes your y coordinate. Y is equal to uy ka place mein you get u sine theta minus half gt square. Vy is uy plus ayt. This will be the velocity in the y direction. This will be u sine theta minus gt. There. So this gives you the y coordinate at any time, and this gives you the velocity in the y direction at any time. Similarly, when you do for the x coordinate, I will write Sx is equal to ux t plus half ax t square. Sx will be the x coordinate, ux will be u cos theta, and ax is 0. So this gives you the x coordinate. Vx will be ux plus axt. So you're using all the three equations. So we get Vx is equal to u cos theta. The horizontal velocity doesn't change. There, see, I found out the x direction, I found out the y direction, I know the coordinates at any time, x and y coordinates. Is this making sense, everyone, what we're doing? Once you split the motion in x direction and y direction, isn't this simply 1D and 1D motion? Didn't we do this thing? Horizontal motion and vertical motion. Any doubts on this logic, everyone? Is this clear, everyone? So once we got this, then I can combine this. So this gives me your y coordinates. This gives me my x coordinates. So this is your u sine theta. And if I put the coordinates, see, if I put the numbers, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, let's say 6 coordinates. Similarly, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now if you try to plot them on a graph, so the point 1 is here, origin and origin. So this will be the point 1. You will get a path like this. This will be point 2, this will be point 3, this will be point 4, this will be point 5, and this will be point 6. There, I got a curve now. So I don't know how to do if you throw it horizontally at an angle, but I know how to do vertically and horizontally. So this gives you x coordinates. So at time t1, t2, t3, t4, t5, t6, I'll find the x coordinates and the y coordinates. I'll plot them on a graph. This gives y coordinates. If I take both of them plot together, I'll get a curve. And in this, you can clearly see this point will be your maximum height. So the vertical direction, right? So this gives, so the y direction is responsible for maximum height and time of flight. So this gives h max, this gives time of flight, this gives time of ascent, and this gives time of descent. There, from using this logic, you will get the formulas. So h max depends on the y coordinate. Anyone remember the formula? Which is, the formula is uy square by 2ay, only the vertical direction. So u square sine square theta by 2g. Are you guys getting this formula? See, we did this 1D last time. In this, what did I say H max is? H max is u square by 2j. Remember this? I told you this is a better form to write uy square by 2ay. So when you're finding H max, the velocity which is important is the vertical velocity. You don't take care of the full speed. So H max is u square sine square theta by 2g. What is time of light? 2uy by ay, which is 2u sine theta by g. So wherever there was u before, it will be u sine theta in that place. Is that making sense, everyone? Time of ascent will be equal to time of descent. That will be u sine theta by g. Again, remember, these formulas are valid only if you come to the same height. If you throw them from buildings, these formulas are not valid. The story is still the same. If you throw like this, the formulas are not valid. So to use this, particle should come back to the same level of projection. I'll write down all the formulas in the last page again. But is this making sense, everyone? So whatever you want in the vertical direction, the y coordinate will take care. The horizontal doesn't care about it. Sure? Because you're coming back to the same level, right? There is no air resistance, right? When you have air resistance, it won't be equal. All clear with this? Then we have one more thing here. So when you project it with u and theta, you go there and land on the ground here. So this is called range. So this is something new. So range is the horizontal distance traveled during time of flight. How do we calculate this? So range is in which direction? X direction, right? So use your horizontal equations, which is Sx is equal to ux t plus half ax t square. Do remember there is only vertical acceleration, horizontal acceleration is 0. Ax is 0 and ay is g. So this will be range. This will be ux is u cos theta and t will be the time of flight and this guy will be 0. So we get a u cos theta. Time of flight is 2u sine theta by g. 2 sine theta cos theta becomes sine 2 theta. This is your range ka formula. This is a new formula. Again, remember, this formula is valid only if you come back to the same level. If particle doesn't come back to the same level, you can't use this. If you're throwing from ground, you have to come back to the ground. These kind of cases, it is not valid. If you're throwing from buildings, don't use this formula. We have to do them separately. And also, if you notice something here, the range r is u square sine 2 theta by g. For complementary angles, theta and 90 minus theta will give same range. And theta 45 gives maximum range. There. So in real life, if there is no air resistance, if you throw it 45 degrees, you get maximum range. But because of air resistance, you should throw around 50, 52 degrees. Again, depends on a lot of factors. That means if you take a particle, throw with a speed of u at 30 degrees, and if this is the range, if you take another particle, throw with the same speed u, but 60 degrees, this will go higher, but this will again land at the same point. So you get the same range for two different angles, 30 and 60. Clear, everyone? So far clear? Any doubt so far? So the vertical direction was giving you h max, time of flight, time of ascent, and the horizontal was giving you the range. Then we have equation of trajectory. So what is the equation of this path? So we know x is equal to u cos theta t. We found the x coordinate, and we know y is equal to u sin theta t minus half gt square. So from here, if you get time, t is equal to x by u cos theta, take this and substitute here, you will end up with y is equal to u sin theta x by u cos theta minus g by 2 x square by u square cos square theta. If you simplify this, you will get y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square by 2 u square cos square theta. This is one form. You can also write this thing as, if you take out x tan theta common, you will get 1 minus x by r, where r is your range. You can check it out. You will get that. It's a pretty good result to use this. This is the equation of trajectory. This tells you the relation between x and y coordinates of this particle. And the shape of this particle which you get, so when you project at an angle u and theta, so this shape which you get, so this is the equation of this trajectory. This is a parabolic equation. So the shape it goes is a parabola. Parabola is that U-shaped kind of thing. This is the equation of trajectory. There are a lot of things. If you see, there's a h max, time of flight, coordinate, x coordinate, y coordinate, equation of trajectory. Clear, everyone? Trishi, clear with this? Yashvi, Ishman, Advait, Ovia, clear? The last thing, velocity and acceleration profile. I will finish all the theory part today. Next class we'll do a lot of problems. So how does the velocity and acceleration change as the particle is flying? So when you projected the particle with u and theta, this guy is going in a parabolic path. Now, if you look at the velocities here, look at this velocity. This is your vertical component, u sine theta. This is your horizontal component, u cos theta. So as you're going up, the horizontal velocity will never change because there is no horizontal acceleration. U cos theta, u cos theta, u cos theta, u cos theta. Whereas the vertical component keeps on changing. This will become Vy, which is u sine theta minus gt. At the highest point, Vy is 0. So be careful here. At h max, velocity is not 0. At h max, the vertical component is 0. Right? And this point, the velocity is coming down. When you come back to the ground level, again, you get back your u sine theta. Can you see how is the velocity changing? The horizontal component will remain same, only the vertical component is increasing and decreasing. So at any instant, this v be the velocity and this will be the alpha. So v is the speed of the particle at time t. So the speed of the projectile is not constant, it is changing, but in that only the vertical component is changing and the horizontal is constant. And alpha is the angle made by the velocity with the horizontal. So we can use vectors and solve this. So what is tan alpha? Tan alpha will be the vertical component Vy by Vx, which is nothing but u sine theta minus gt by u cos theta. There, this is one formula. And you get the velocity, Vx will be v cos alpha, but we know the horizontal never changes, so this is also equal to u cos theta. And during this entire motion, if you look at the gravity is always down, acceleration never changes. At h max, speed is not zero, speed is u cos theta. Yeah, so these are the few points there. And what about the velocity? So velocity at any time v bar will be the horizontal component vx I cap plus vy j cap. That is u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta minus gt j cap. There, these are all the points there, and acceleration is always constant. So see what all things we did. We started the whole story like this. The particle is projected at an angle with u and theta, so I split this into two parts, the u sin theta and u cos theta. U sin theta was responsible for going up and down, and u cos theta was responsible for going right. So this u sin theta gave me the h max. U sin theta will give you the time of flight. U sin theta will give time of ascent and time of descent. So anything that is related to the time, the vertical component is responsible. The horizontal component gave you the range, the horizontal distance traveled, which is s is ut plus half at square, but ax is 0. Keep that in mind, ax will not be always 0. For now it is 0. This gave me the range. Equation of trajectory is when you eliminate time and get both x and y coordinates. Then we got an equation between y and x, and this is the parabolic equation. Then we got a velocity profile. As you're going up, only the vertical velocity will decrease, the horizontal will not change because ax is 0. So the horizontal velocity will always remain u cos theta. Vertical velocity will be u sin theta minus gt. So the angle tan alpha will be vertical by horizontal. The horizontal velocity will be always constant. So v cos alpha is equal to u cos theta. V is the speed at any time. H max means speed is not 0. Vy is 0, but u cos theta is still there. Got all the formulas. That is the complete theory of projectile. If you understood this, meaning projectile ka theory is done. But we will do around 10-15 different models, so that's a different thing. Think about it. Equations are also three, na? V is u plus at, s is ut plus half at square. What kind of problems we did? So if I just brief up all the formulas, this should help you. You should definitely remember this and come for the next class. So if you project it with u and theta, and as this is flying here, let's say after some time t, the particle is here, x comma y. This is your position vector r bar. This is your velocity vector v bar. R bar is given by x coordinate I cap plus y coordinate j cap. So this is given by R bar is u cos theta into time, that gives you the x coordinate. Y coordinate is u sin theta t minus r gt square. J cap. This gives you the coordinates. The velocity vector is vx I cap, vy j cap. So this will be u cos theta I cap plus u sin theta minus gt j cap. This gives you the velocity at any time. You want speed. Speed is simply mod v bar. I can use root over vx square plus vy square. H max is u square sine square theta by 2g. Time of ascent is u sine theta by g. Then I'm just putting down all the formulas we derived. Time of flight is 2u sine theta by g. Time of descent is u sine theta by g. But these two formulas are valid only if you come to the same level. Not only this, range also. Range is u square sine 2 theta by g. These three formulas are valid only if you come to the same level. If you're throwing from buildings, this won't work. We have to do them differently. Then at any time, the angle made by the projectile tan alpha will be Vy, the vertical component by horizontal velocity, which is u sine theta minus gt by u cos theta. And also v cos alpha at any instant, the velocity v cos alpha will be u cos theta. Alpha is the angle made by the velocity with x-axis. And then we have equation of trajectory. Y is equal to x tan theta. So this gives you relation between x and y coordinate. Gx square by 2u square cos square theta. This can be also written as, if you take out x tan theta common, this will be 1 minus x by r. There. Primarily, these are the main formulas. Now I have put down all in one page. You can refer when you're solving. So we will see different variations of this, different models on this. So definitely make sure to revise the projectile motion ka thing and come. Whatever you're confused, we can discuss that also. But I hope the steps were clear. The whole idea is that you split the motion into vertical, horizontal, and then you study them separately, and then you just add them up. So you got x, y, and everything. If you ask me now, these are really important. Most people they just keep forgetting this. If you know these two things now, you can derive most of the stuff. Don't forget that your x and y coordinate and velocity. I'll tell you a simple question. Find the time when velocity vector and r bar are perpendicular. हो गया ना question? If two vectors are perpendicular, what you do? Dot product. Bas question हो गया. That's simple question. So you should know first how to find r bar and b bar and then do dot product. Clear with this? So do revise this. So next class when we catch up on Thursday, we'll continue from here. So we will do some good problems on projectile. So yeah, with that we'll wrap up for the day. So any doubts, anything, you can stay back and ask, or else you're free to leave. Right? And do remember there's a test online till Thursday night, so make sure to give it. Okay, with that we'll wrap up for the day. So let's see first